Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be back in Toulouse, to be here at MTech, and to see such an amazing program for today. So before we get started, I wanted to share a few things about what exactly is going to happen through this second day of MTech France. We're going to hear from international speakers about, as you've seen, the impact of technology on who we are, on society, on the economy today, and also in the years to come. We're going to have 4 sessions, 8 topics that we're going to touch upon: the future of work, of education, energy, smart cities. We're going to talk of civic technologies as well, of hybrid cities, this interconnection of sustainable development and the digital impact on our urban environment. And afterwards, early afternoon, I believe, there's going to be for the startups among us and the innovators who are joining us, a venture point of event where investors and startups can connect. So this is all about ideas, but also about how they impact our economy, our businesses, our society, and what they mean for our future. Before we get started, one very important thing to keep in mind: this is a live event. This is, of course, an event that we want to spread much further than these walls. And so if you have Twitter, the hashtag is EMTechFR. It's, I believe, on the screen, so feel free to take pictures, share ideas, react to what the speakers are saying, and interact with them through the hashtag. So before the event itself, I was asked to say a few words more about what it is that I'm working on, and I guess why we and me and our company were lucky enough to be selected last year as the technology review Innovator Under 35 and for France. And broadly speaking, Plume Labs, my company, sits exactly at the center of these different trends: connected cities, using data to make our economy, our environment more understandable, and to improve it to everyone. And the reason we've been working on using data to improve air quality and to make our cities more breathable is, if we sum it up, because we have only one planet. I know that it's, especially when we think of the future of technology, very, very, very exciting at the moment to see all that is happening in the space industry, for instance. I'm sure none of you have missed the Elon Musk keynote with his very bold plan to bring humanity to Mars and make us an interplanetary species. I think we're all rooting for that to happen, but for that to happen in 10, 15, 20 years, and to actually have an impact such as the one we're hoping for our species, we cannot afford to spoil the one planet we have until we get to that point. And arguably, this might not even happen for centuries and centuries. And because we have only one planet, the size of the issues it's facing at the moment should call us to action to build innovative solutions to the educational, to the health, and to the environmental issues that we're facing today. So, next slide. What makes me hopeful, and I think what makes a lot of innovators here today hopeful, is that cities are our future. They're certainly concentrating a lot of issues. We can think of traffic. Just this morning in Toulouse, I hope you didn't get delayed because of this. It was honestly pretty bad, unfortunately. Of course, environmental issues are exacerbated in cities, but they also bring innovators together, which means they can catalyze much, much more powerful solutions that can reach scales at speeds that are unseen of and unheard of at this point. We'll hear just afterwards from a speaker from Slack, probably one of the fastest growing companies in the world. By innovating and building these new products at a scale that's been unheard of before, cities can be part not only of the problems but also of the solution. And the main problem we're working on at Plume is, on the next slide, this idea that what we are really is what we breathe. The World Health Organization estimates that there's about 12.5 million people who die every year of environmental causes. The impact of our own environment on our health. That's huge. It's a major crisis. of those 12 million, two-thirds, that's 8.5 million people dying every year, come from air pollution, atmospheric pollution, as well as air quality indoors. And something that strikes with, of course, seeing the Volkswagen scandal unfold over the past few months, something that's very striking is if you look at, in the US, for instance, at the impact of air pollution, cars cause about 36,000 casualties every year because of accidents, but also kill 53,000 people. That's an MIT study from 5 years ago. So cars kill more because of pollution than because of accidents. That is mind-boggling, and that has to stop. And next slide, the solution we're building upon to try to at least make a dent in this issue of air pollution is this very, very strong idea that information is power. If we give information to individuals, to communities, to patients, to educators, we can actually empower them to decrease their own exposure to what they breathe, to air pollution, and to improve the quality of their health and of their well-being. And so in a nutshell, next slide, because air pollution is such an issue, and by the way, it's not only a problem in emerging metropolises around the world, it is actually a really strong issue in Europe as well. I think in Paris, people lose 6 months of life expectancy every year because of pollution. Because it is such an issue that touches individuals first and foremost, next slide, what we're building is bringing technology that brings this issue of air quality that we've seen so far as a public issue that has to be solved by policy first and foremost, into the hands of individuals, of citizens, of consumers, so that they can themselves be actors of reducing and curtailing their own exposure to pollution, but also building healthier lifestyles that will contribute less to the problem. And so we're using artificial intelligence, we're using distributed sensors, we're using advanced hardware and connected devices that make it easier for people to understand what they breathe and what they can do about it to improve their own health and to reduce the impact our own environment has on ourselves. So I'll wrap up with this, but I wanted to introduce some of the themes we are going to see today. The company is called Plume Labs, last slide, I believe, and we believe that we are what we breathe, and that by improving our access to information on the environment, we can decrease the impact that our urban lives have on our own health. We can use technology literally to make the world a more breathable space. So thank you very much, and we'll now go on with the program of the day. I'm going to call the next speaker on the stage after a video that's going to introduce her work. Her name, the next speaker is Alia Lamadar. She's a senior enterprise account executive at the company I just hinted at, the company Slack. Maybe just a show of hands, who here is using Slack every day? That is impressive. That is very impressive. I honestly have no idea how we would work without such a product, and so I hope that's the best introduction I could give to the next speaker. So let's hear it for Lemia. Thank you.